What is going on, everyone? I was muted there. I think I caught that before I started talking. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna give some people a couple moments to get in here if they want to, and we're gonna make this a quick live stream. I want to specifically show a video clip. And this video clip is going to prove to you, out of Charles Barkley's mouth, why sports are not rigged. They're not rigged. It's a joke. It is a joke to think that they are rigged, which is why I chose the. Hold on, can I hear my is my mic working? Let me test it here. Oh, my thumb's just down. Okay, we're good. Whoops. Okay. It's gonna prove to you that sports are not rigged. He tells you what they are. He tells you exactly what they are, and it's very obvious this is what they are. This is going to be a continuation of the last video I did regarding this. Last live stream I did regarding this. So we will we'll continue on here. So anyone wants to join, you can join. If not, you can see this in the future. And let's get started. So I'll start by showing this video of Charles Barkley. This was just a few nights ago when they were covering the Denver Minnesota game on what was it, NBA whatever the show's called, with him, Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, and Draymond Green has been a part of it, ironically, which I think it almost seems to me like he's going to be taking over Charles Barkley's position because he's has a similar personality as him, and he's still a player, which is kind of weird with him being on there. If you understand what I'm saying, because he's talking as about the game as if he's an outside source when he's actually on a team actively playing, talking about other teams as if he's analyzing them, which is very odd to do when you are on a team that is competing against these other teams. Your analysis is going to be tainted, I would have to assume. It only makes sense. And if it's not, then you must be getting ready for some role, which that will all make sense here in a moment. It will all make sense in just a moment here. Now, I want to check something before I play this video. I want to look at this on my YouTube. See, I need to make sure I do tags before I start this stuff. Hold on a moment. Okay. Go here. We're gonna. I don't like how YouTube separated live streams from videos and from the shorts and all that. Edit. Okay. I want to make sure it was publicly visible because YouTube has a problem with making my videos publicly visible when I go live. So here's the video clip. We'll pull up here.
Bless all the people
Serve our country.
with the torch.
Hold on. Let me turn this. Is it all? Oh, it's all up. Is it? Yep. Okay. Let me start it over. And listen closely.
But I
Where
also
play stops and everybody just has a moment to consider all those who
bless all the
served
people
our country.
with the tornadoes, and shout out to anybody. Now we talk about that all the time. Thanks to anybody who had the courage to serve. But also we have to acknowledge Grayson Murray, man. That was really painful. Us being here in town and hearing the pain in all those guys' voices, because
his lips are completely off for some reason. It's bothering me. Hold on a moment. I want to see if this is on the actual video. Because it was not originally. Where's my clip? Where isn't this coming up? Open.
Also, we have to acknowledge Grayson Murray, man. That was really painful.
Oh yeah, the sync is way off on it. Hold on a moment. Let me get the original video.
The flame stops and everybody just has a moment to consider all those who served our country. The tornadoes, and shout out to anybody. We talk.
Yeah, it's way off. So let's just start over. Okay, here we go.
but I
Where
also
play stops and everybody just has a moment to consider all those who
bless all the
served
people
our country.
with the tornadoes, and shout out to anybody. Now we talk.
So to give context, they're talking about the tornadoes that are occurring that did occur in Texas, in the Houston area. That's what they're talking about. And then it transitioned straight into this, and this was Charles' response regarding the people that had died during the tornadoes, which had happened just, I think it was the day before.
Talk about that all the time. Thanks to anybody who had the courage to serve. But also we have to acknowledge Grayson Murray, man. That was.
Notice he said we had to acknowledge Grayson Murray, which, for those who don't know, Grayson Murray is a PGA Tour golfer, or former. And he, last weekend, which was, this would have been on Saturday then probably, he had pulled out of the tournament, and that night he died. Turns out, maybe that was Friday. Turns out, right before he says this, because I didn't know who Grayson Murray was, and I went and looked it up. And right after he says this, I go look it up, and they had just announced publicly that Grayson Murray had committed suicide. And all the news articles were from 2 hours ago at the most. And this was his family that was disclosing this, that it was not that this is that's what happened, that he pulled out of the tournament and he went and committed suicide. So everything that Charles is saying is taking that into account. And this is new information that he had just gotten. I mean, we got it available to us about 2 hours before he was saying this. So I don't know how long before that he knew, probably quite a bit, and you'll understand why in a moment. The fact that he's even talking about this in relation with the tornadoes that occurred in Texas is absolutely insane, and I'll get to that more in a moment.
Really painful, us being here in town and hearing the pain in all those guys' voices, because when you play sports, you're part of a fraternity.
What? What'd you say, Charles?
When you play sports, you're part of a fraternity.
When you play sports, you are a part of a fraternity? Because who were we talking about right before that?
Painful, us being here in town and hearing the pain and all those guys' voices, because when you play sports, you're part of a fraternity. So shout out to all the soldiers. Shout out.
He's saying soldier. So he says when you play sports, you're part of a fraternity. He didn't mince words. He did not in any way, shape, or form. It's like a fraternity. It is similar to a fraternity. He said when you play sports. He didn't say basketball. He did not say the NBA. He said when you play sports, you are a part of a fraternity. We already knew this, but how much more proof do we need? How much more proof do we need? This is not rigged. This is not rigged. They were a part of a fraternity, which means this is all planned out. It is not rigged. We need to stop saying the sports are rigged. They're not. Go watch my last live stream regarding this. It is the wrong terminology to use. It makes no sense. They are planned decades in advance. This whole industry was planned to grow as it did and do what it is doing to keep people away from themselves and actually doing something to change the course of this toxic culture that has been unleashed on nature. And the sports, you can clearly see in history what they have always been used for. It is a distraction. It is a structured way to encapsulate and have you give your energy up. That's why you are a fan. Fans blow air. You're blowing air. What does hot air do? We are hot. We are electrical beings. We run hot. We like to be warm. That's why we eat. Especially when we're cold, we eat more, especially things that make our body work harder because we like to be hot. We're sun beings. We operate in heat. And just think of a hot air balloon. If you're a fan blowing air, but you operate in the sense of heat, being hot, you're blowing hot air at these teams, which in turn is blowing them up. It's making them rise. You are what is growing this whole industry. This sports, NBA, NFL, none of this would exist. MLB, FIFA, any other one across the industrial world, none of this would exist without your participation as a fan, spending your money and truly your attention and energy. That is what it comes down to. And he's telling you right now that this is all planned out because it's part of a fraternity. And if you know anything about fraternities, these Greek fraternities, the Masons, the Grecos, the kings and the queen, all of these different organized Masonic structures throughout his story, they're all fraternities. That's all they are. It's some type of club that is structured in a hierarchical way to where the people on top have all control and the people on bottom are doing all of the work. It's all that this whole system is that people are participating in freely. It's a huge Masonic system. That is all it is. It's just been blown up to the point to where you don't even realize you're in the pyramid, and most of us are on the bottom of that pyramid. So let's continue. So we said we're in a fraternity.
Out to Grayson Murray's family and bless all the soldiers. Shout out to Grayson Murray's family and bless those people who went through the tornado.
I want to second that too.
I'll talk about this, but notice what he just said and how he said it. Notice what he just said and how
Hearing
he
the
said
pain in all those guys' voices, because when you play sports, you're part of a fraternity. So shout out to all the soldiers. Shout out to Grayson Murray's family and bless those people who went through the tornado.
I want to second that too. I send a lot of love to those guys that's on the tour with him.
You see, even Draymond came in and said right in response that he wants to second that. And he didn't say it about the people in Texas that were hit by the tornadoes. No. We don't care about that.
Through the tornado.
After. But what was the first thing he said? Which I just happened to catch this on this clip. What was the first thing he said?
I want to second that too. I send a lot of love to those guys that's on the tour with him.
But I also...
He's talking about the people that were on the tour with Grayson Murray. He's more concerned about the people that were on the tour with Grayson Murray making millions of dollars to hit a ball into a hole than the people that got hit by the tornadoes in Texas, where they are with the Mavericks. They're in town where the destruction occurred, yet they're talking about this PGA golfer that must have had some discomfort within himself, and he decided to commit suicide. I am not stating that is not something that should be looked upon and seen why that occurred. I'm saying that it shouldn't be broadcasted on TNT tip-off, NBA tip-off, and talked about as if it's more important than the lives that just got destroyed in many ways, not just being killed, but a lot of people, they lost their houses. They lost everything that was in it. And they're focused on one individual who most people would greatly or would quickly swap places with, and him deciding to take his own life. That's what they're focused on. They're not focused on all the people that lost everything because of some supposed natural disaster that came through and destroyed it. No, let's not focus on that. We're going to focus on the PGA. We don't care about the people is all that they're saying, because they're part of a fraternity. What did he say? Shout out to all the soldiers. He ain't talking about the soldiers in the military. He ain't talking about the people that got hit by the weather, the tornadoes, as being a soldier. He's talking about the boys in the fraternity. They're the soldiers. It's quite disgusting, honestly, that they're doing this so blatantly in front of everyone and no one would even pay attention to this. How can you be so focused on just one individual and what they chose to do, rather than a population that is affecting a whole community? It affects even more than the people that it directly affected, because you got all of their families that now are going to really need to assist them. They should. I mean, community, you have the rest of the larger community that could potentially be affected by services and goods that were being produced by these people, the businesses. It causes such a ripple effect when something like this occurs. Yet we're focused on one PGA golfer that is no longer going to be playing golf anymore. Is golf going to stop? No. There's a tournament probably going on right now. Every Thursday, as long as this season. Every Thursday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I used to watch golf. And this community in Texas. I don't know the state of it. It may not even, they may not be functioning right now. I don't know because I'm not there. I am sure that there's a lot more going on there that needs attention than their soldiers. Let's listen to this one more time.
Play stops and everybody just has a moment to consider all those who
bless all the
served
people
our country.
with the tornadoes, and shout out to anybody. Now we talk about that all the time. Thanks to anybody who had the courage to serve, but also we have to acknowledge Grayson Murray, man. That was really painful. Us being here in town and hearing the pain in all those guys' voices, because when you play sports, you're part of a fraternity. So shout out to all the soldiers. Shout out to Grayson Murray's family, and bless those people who went through the tornado.
I want to second that.
What? Shout out to all the soldiers. Shout out to all of Grayson Murray's family. Because, they no longer have their son. Okay. That was his choice, though. It was his choice, we to remember. And he was also a part of a fraternity that I would have to assume that a lot of these people, once they figure out what's going on in there, I wouldn't say a lot. Some of them, they don't agree with it and they want out. How do you get out of a gang, which is nothing more than a fraternity? How do you get initiated into one? So how do you get out of one? The same way you turn your automobile on is the same way you turn it off. You just kill it. You just got to go back with it. It's the same concept. So I'm not saying that that's what occurred here, but who knows? We know nothing, and I've looked nothing into this situation. Though I would not doubt that if it had something to do with that. Because there's a lot going on right now. And the people that don't agree with what is going on necessarily, if they're on the inside, they're going to have a hard time stomaching it. Because there's a lot of movement going on right now. And it's necessary to get the sheep to go to the next gate. And move them through.
That too. I send a lot of love to those guys that's on the tour with him.
Okay. So to wrap this up, the video says it all. Sports are not rigged. They're not. Stop saying it. Anyone that would like to talk to me, I would love to talk about this topic with other people, because we could actually maybe figure out what is going on with them instead of just pointing at it and saying that is rigged. I am pretty sure that they are giving their hand out with all of these events through very simple ways that people are able, that are in the know, that are in the fraternity, the soldiers, they're able to pick up on it and reap the rewards that they had sown from being a part of the fraternity. There's very specific things they do during these games, especially with the cameras and the players and how they show jersey numbers, people getting in front of people in jerseys. Sometimes they're wearing jackets, sometimes they're not. Sometimes the jackets will be open. Sometimes they'll be showing one number and then someone will be standing over the other one to show their number. It's very interesting and peculiar how these things occur. And then you got the time on the clocks and the quarters and the points and everything. The numbers are saying something. It's also the arrangement of people. I've also noticed in basketball, sometimes they'll show the handshakes of different people. I question if that means something to the outcome of a game, if they show it, when they show it, how they show it, the angles it's being shown at. You getting what I'm putting out here? That this is a mathematical equation that is occurring. I don't know how or what the different parts they're using to build the equation to get the outcome or to show people what the outcome is going to be. It's there though. It's definitely there because they're doing a lot of these same things on repeat. It's just gaining enough data to figure out what they're doing and then using that against them. If you figure that out, you could bankrupt Vegas, or at least Vegas is going to have to make an immediate change, which would throw a lot of things off the rails. But I'm sure that they're prepared for that scenario as well, because they're prepared for all these scenarios. Because I know eventually there's going to be people that realize what the hell they're doing right in front of everyone, and they're going to see the patterns that are going on in front of everyone, and they're going to be able to take advantage of it, and then they're going to share that, because I bet you there's already people that have noticed these different patterns, and that doesn't just have to do with sports, it has to do with all industry, and they have taken advantage of it. The problem is a lot of people, that's all they do. They get some for themselves and their family, and that's it. The system's okay with that. They just don't want people all to know. They just want to make sure the system sustains itself. So as long as it's only you go do your thing. Just be quiet. If there was enough people that knew what was going on, that knew which way to go with something, could they change it? Possibly, most likely, because who knows what is actually going out there on the court and how the stuff is being orchestrated. I don't know. I don't know if it's kind of technology they potentially are using, if this is just all theatrics, they're just running plays out here. I don't know. I don't know. Can people still hear me? Because I have had literally not one viewer in here, which is okay. It's good. So which is interesting. Is that a surprise though with this topic? I don't know. It probably isn't, especially on my channel. It probably is not getting broadcasted. So I will end it here. If you want to get more info on this, go watch the live stream that I did last Friday on the same topic, and I went into more detail on why this is all planned. This is not rigged. This is all orchestrated plan over at least the past few decades, probably at least the last century. This has all been planned out. And you can clearly see that sports are not what people think they are. And I elaborate on that in that live stream. So if you're interested, go check that out. Otherwise, stay vigilant. Stop watching sports. Stop paying attention really to anything that is distracting you from educating and getting ready for what is occurring currently. Being prepared. Are you ready if something were to happen? If not, that's where your focus should be. And you need to be ready in all facets. Are you ready financially if something were to happen? What are you going to do? Where do you go? What if the whole entire financial system crashed tomorrow? Where do you go with it? How are you going to provide for yourself? Where do you get water and food? How are you going to clean your water? What if you don't have electricity? Have you prepared for all of this stuff? Have you thought about this? I'm not saying any of this is going to happen, but what if it does? The solar activity is picking up. We need to be prepared, not distracted. Because if we're distracted, then something occurs. That's when insanity ensues, because your survival just takes over and you'll start doing things that we as natural beings would never do to each other, because we want everyone to live the life that they would love to, as long as that's not stepping on anyone else's choices in life. So prepare and stop watching sports. Enjoy your day. Go get some sun. Go step on the ground. Make sure you ground. Put your feet on the ground. Very important. Stop wearing shoes. Take them off. Throw them away.